There you are, Curtis.
Good morning and good evening and Happy New Year. And let's hope this is the best New Year we've ever had. And I'd like to welcome you to Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters Club from all around the world. Warm wishes. Please take out your phones and set them to silence. And I would like to tell you I'm Sally Reyes, the acting Sergeant at Arms, to welcome you today. Thank you. I'd like to also welcome Michelle Pedicolis, who's a standing in for president today on our special day. Thank you, Michelle, for standing in for our job today. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Sally. And I'm right now in gallery view because I first want to welcome everybody to our very first meeting of the new year 2022. Wow, what a lot of twos there, which means unity, right? It means like connecting with each other, twos. I want to welcome, and the topic for today is new beginnings. Fresh beginnings. And we really could use a fresh beginning. Last year was interesting, and now we have a fresh new year to start off with. And thank you all for showing up tonight. I especially want to reach out to our guests. Guest Roger Swenson, you were here first thing right away, just as we opened the room. We really appreciate you showing up. Thank you, Roger.
You're welcome.
All right, great. And I want to thank Stefan, who I believe was our second guest. He showed up, and Stefan, really happy to have you here. And we may be pulling you in to do some roles here. You never know. We might be shy.
Thank you. No problem. No problem at all.
Okay. And then the next guest we have is Bhushan, who's going to be our grammarian. Awesome. Bhushan, where are you from? Oh, you
Toronto.
told us, Canada, Toronto. And Stefan, where are you from? Sorry, I meant to ask you that.
I'm from the Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
We always talk about going on vacation to the Bahamas. How sweet. Okay, and from Toronto, is it a little cold up there right now, Bhushan?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Already snowed down.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see, have I missed any guests? I think that's our three guests. Thank you very much. And now I want to turn it over to Rosemary Sweeney, who is our Toastmaster of the day. Rosemary, please join me on the stage.
Thank you, Madam Acting President, for your introduction this evening. This evening, we are going to have a warm meeting, and the theme of our meeting is fresh beginnings. Imagine that. Some of us are cold, some of us are warm. However, our beginning is going to be fresh, and we are looking forward to creating a brighter year ahead. This is the new year, and our year is going to be bright no matter what is happening around us. Tonight at Leaders Worldwide, we are going to have an impromptu speaking challenge where it's all about table topics. We have a few good people who have come with 4 or 5 topical questions. I now call on our grammarian to introduce the word of the day. Let us make him feel welcome.
I believe that's Sally, that's our grammarian. Am I right?
No, we requested our guest,
Yes.
Oh,
Bhushan.
oh, Bhushan, you're right. It was him. Bhushan, that's you.
Me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
You're our grammarian. So tell us a little bit about,
The word of the day.
yeah, what word you want to do? Do we have a word of the day?
Yes,
Yes.
the chat. Yes, he was
it's
given a word.
synergy.
Awesome.
Well, thank you all. As a grammarian, I would watch for your use of grammar throughout this meeting. How you use the different sentences, quotes, any new things that I hear. And I would also monitor your usage of the word of the day. The word of the day is synergy. Synergy meaning where sum of the parts is greater than the whole, which means 1 + 1 is equal to 3. So synergy is where two things make this greater impact than both of them put together. And so do use this word. It's a great beginning for the new year. I'll also watch for any filler words you use in the sentences, such as and I present my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Back to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian, for introducing such an awesome word at the beginning of the year. So with the synergy of the other members of Leaders Worldwide, we are going to have fresh beginnings and ensure that our year is bright. I now call on our timer to explain her role.
So this is Carolyn Douglas. I'm serving as the timer for the speeches that are done today. Specifically for table topics, the timing is a maximum of 2 minutes. And I will demonstrate what that looks like in terms of the timing vehicles that I will be using. At 1 minute, which qualifies you for table topics, I will show the green. Oh, I have to flip my mirror. At 1.5 minutes, I will show the yellow. And at 2 minutes, I will show the red, and you have 30 seconds to wrap up your speech. Back to you. Oh, at the end of the meeting, I will give a report of the timing.
Thank
Back
you
to
so
you,
much.
Toastmaster.
Thank you for explaining the timer's role, which is very important. We are told that time is money. At this time, we will have the pleasure of listening to our keynote speaker, Toastmaster Kathlyn. She's going to speak with us, give us her keynote address. Let me just get her bio here. Kathlyn Pihl is a chartered member of Leaders Worldwide, the Leaders Worldwide Club. She helps creatives unfurl their purpose day by day. She is a hand analyst and works with dreams. The title of her speech is By the Light of the Moon. Help me welcome Toastmaster Kathlyn Pihl, By the Light of the Moon. Toastmaster Kathlyn Pihl, By the Light of the Moon. Help me welcome her as she presents a keynote speech.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Come on in. Gather closer. Gather round. I'm glad you're here. We have an intimate group here, and it's story time. I want to share an extraordinary event in history with you. And the reason I'm sharing it is because there is a touch of the story's meaning in us all. Back in 1995, 50 years after the end of World War II, some information was let out almost by accident about women espionage agents during the war. Curiously, men agents had been celebrated for decades, but the women remained shrouded in the restrictions and rules of past centuries. Now, the information was revealed, and one researcher heard about it and went to great lengths for years to find those still living, now in their 80s, and get their stories. These women had kept their secrets for 50 years, and most expected never to reveal what they knew. They expected their stories to die with them. For a number of them, the researcher actually had to get clearance for interviews, not only from the espionage office, but from the women's sons and husbands. When they finally gave interviews, their stories were riveting. Imagine they were flown behind enemy lines by the light of the moon, when there was sufficient light that the pilots could turn their running lights off, flying across enemy lines over farmers' fields, the fumes of the plane mixing with fear and with determination. Sometimes they flew in plywood planes to avoid radar detection. And then they were dropped into the night, into the darkness of conflict, to do what had to be done to subvert the devastation engulfing the Western world. Badass, huh? They risked their lives. They endured extreme hardship and danger, braved unspeakable cruelty. Those caught were tortured and killed. The researcher gathered interviews from 8 different countries. The women came from different classes, from varied educational and cultural backgrounds, but they did have some commonalities. They were courageous. They were adventuresome. They were intuitive and tactical problem solvers. And they had a certain advantage. As women, they were invisible because they were presumed to be weaker and less intelligent, incapable of such work. The enemy usually didn't even see them. This kind of valiance brings out an unusual facet of the hero's story. It's not about one conquering figure lifting his shining sword, the hero, but about penetration into the shadows where the feminine principle had been covered, suppressed, and darkened for millennia. Some of these women pointed out they were working in a team, and some were so humble they said they were just doing their job. Most of them spoke of compassion, of the need to do something, just anything, about the dislocation and the devastation, the horrors of that war. They spoke not of glory, but of sadness, that war is a mistake, even a violation. And now they were getting to work to heal the toxic consequences of a hardened, narrow social psychology that was just time to go. Their stories have a feminine twist, and nobody tells that feminine version of the hero's story better than Jean Houston in her book, The Wizard of Us. The Wizard of Us, Transformational Lessons from Oz. This book analyzes that beloved story, The Wizard of Oz, written in 1900 in the United States. It came to the author just overnight. So he had to get out of bed and write down the message that he had received that night. It's about a girl whose home is too confined and limited in meaning for her. And then she's just caught up in an enormous natural storm, a tornado. And she is transported to a land of new possibilities where she has to go on a quest. Houston describes how the heroine, Dorothy, helps her companions on the road to find and fulfill their potential. So on Dorothy's quest, the companions find and fulfill their potential together, thereby helping each other find the possible society. They find their greater fruition. In serving with their gifts, they achieve their land of promise together. Dorothy helps the lion who begins cowardly to grow into his courage and become the brave member. And we meet the scarecrow with straw for brains, who, with his partner's help, he becomes the clever one of the bunch. And the Tin Man, bereft of trusting his heart at the beginning, then grows into heartfulness. All through their transformation together arrive at the city of Dorothy's yearning, the land that is waiting in the hearts of us all, the possible society. Now, why am I telling you these stories? What is that touch of meaning that I talk about, that they carry, that these stories carry for us all? Both are about turning the energy around and changing the fate of the situation, engaging larger forces with connectivity and compassion, with synergy, leading by serving. In one story, they turn their world from dissent and devastation and horror. And the other, they transform to new heights to realize our potential. Both have to do with facing our fears, going big, connecting in compassion for the greater good. Now, I think you know that we can engage with life in either direction. We can engage with darkness for undarkening. You've seen that around. And we can engage in real life for enlightening. You and I know very well that that is possible. It depends on where we give our attention. We engage life forces for good or for ill. So let us live our talents, you and I. Huh? To take the risk, offer our gifts and live a spirited life together. Contribute the best and the sweetest in ourselves for our deepest selves, from our deepest selves, to meet others' deepest selves. When we look, we see each other's strengths and our failings and our brilliance. And we can cultivate our potential, each other's potential together. Here we are at Leaders Worldwide, leading by serving. That skill of leading by serving is the secret sauce. It is the open secret that has been demonstrated for decades to be the best elixir to move forward, to heal and grow ourselves and our world. But it's a little unfamiliar because it doesn't fit that dominant, get ahead, make a killing kind of attitude. But we go farther when we go together. Let us take initiative, reach out. For instance, just in case you're so inclined, when we see a fellow member who looks interesting Reach out. Ask. Hey, do you know how to use the websites, Easy Speak and Pathways? Invite a fellow member to collaborate. Are you working on a speech? Ask if you can run it by a fellow member. I did that tonight with Sally. How's your speech organization? That takes a lot of practice. How's your time management in speeches? Well, buddy up. Let us, as one of our members has said, let us be mentors, mentoring mentors. I can tell you, I've not only made delicious friendships, I've made my work faster and easier and more fun and better, thanks to my collegial friendships and collaboration, mutual empowerment. We go faster and farther when we ask for help and we offer help. Toastmasters is a powerful incubator. Helen Blanchard, the first female Toastmasters International president, said, and get this is fun, if you get out of Toastmasters all you can get out of Toastmasters, you will never get out of Toastmasters. And that rings true for me. I am continually challenged, and because it's a safe place to reach beyond my skills, I rise to the challenges. I make friendships with really interesting people. And at Leaders Worldwide, your wild ideas are not just welcome, we crave that brilliance. We want to cultivate it with you. Can you imagine if Dorothy and one of these spies were together in this club? You know, they would be fast friends, real quick. So, fellow leaders, let's be generous and generative. Because one thing we know is we can't directly fix the world's problems, but in fulfilling our best talents, we transform. Ain't that the truth? And thereby we actually transform the world. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much for this enlightening speech, where you are telling us that we can transform the world if we have our synergies in the right place and we are with the right group of people to help us achieve just that. At this time, we are going to have our question and answer round. How much more time, Madam Timer, will that be?
It's
We
generally
have
5 minutes. It's 5 minutes. So at 3 minutes, I will show the green. And at 4 minutes, I'll show the yellow. And at 5 minutes, I'll show the red. But we have a total of 5 minutes for Q&A.
Okay, then. So our lovely people this evening who are going to make our year brighter, Toastmaster Phil is waiting for your questions. Don't you have a question to ask?
Well,
Just a comment.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Carolyn, you were first.
well, I wanted to remark how much I really enjoyed the book, and I really appreciate the speech on the Wizard of Us, because one of my colleagues made a class out of it, and it was the most interesting class to participate in. So I really appreciate the speech very much. There is a question in the chat.
Let's
What
see.
made you think of the Wizard of Oz?
What made me think of the Wizard of Oz is that powerful stretch between the deepest and the most expansive aspects of ourselves that the feminine persons tend to reach very easily. What made me think of the Wizard of Oz? Actually, it was not the Wizard of Oz. It was what I have learned from the book, The Wizard of Oz, Us. And then it was very obvious.
Okay, we have, well done, Kathleen. Was something going on in your life that brought you to the Wizard of Us book?
Oh, my usual going on in my life. I'm always seeking knowledge and I love dreams and myth, and I love those dimensions of our intelligence that inform from the larger scale, which I think is the truer. In many cases, it has greater truths by which to grow. Those larger dimensions of our intelligence are the seeds or the signals by which we grow. And so I'm simply very interested in dreams and myths and legends and those messages that come from beyond the veil. What looks mysterious to me is mysterious only to our very specific literal mind, aspect of our mind. And so the myths and the legends tell stories that put in simple terms. They put the mysteries in simple terms.
Okay, does someone want to say they ask their question themselves? No. There's well, that question was from Avery, and there is someone, Gary, who said he really enjoyed the insight into the Wizard of Oz. It is a timeless story. And
Yes.
there is a question which is saying, is there one way you playing a leadership role in Leaders Worldwide compares to Dorothy or the female spies in the World War? What is it and how have you grown? That's a long question.
Thank you very much, Maureen. That is a very rich question. I love it. It's a wise person asking that question. And what I can say is that, yes, Leaders Worldwide has helped me to walk on the earth and walk a mythologically inspired life all at once. And part of the way Leaders Worldwide has helped me to do that is that I reach out to the best in people. I know, I see the best, the glorious, the sugar crystals that I want out of people. And I'm after it. I want it. I want some of that. And I want to serve your brilliance. So thank you everyone for communing with me And now I turn it back to thank you so much, Ms. Rosemary. You are such a marvelous Toastmaster. I'm so glad we're in your hands and in Curtis's hands and in Michelle's hands and Carolyn's. Thank you, role players.
Thank you so much for pointing out to us so many things we can learn from the Wizard of Us, which matches the Wizard of Oz. At this time, we are going to have a 5-minute break. This is the time for a 5-minute break.
See you on the other side.
5 minutes.
Okay, so this session is like an impromptu speaking workshop. Go ahead if you want and give yourself enough time to organize your thoughts before you answer the questions. Your timing will be 1 to 2 minutes, and it will not begin until you start speaking. See if you can make a mini speech out of it. It is a superb exercise for things like job interviews. And I just said, this is the best place to practice for an interview. Seeing you never know what question is coming across the table. This is what our table topic master is going to do, give us questions which we do not know. It is coming across. So let us welcome our table topic master, Toastmaster Kimi.
Hello, everybody. The Table Topics is an opportunity for you to practice your impromptu speaking. And today our word of the day is synergy, which is the concept that combining value and performance of two companies with that will be greater than the sum of the individual parts. Synergy, or the potential of financial benefit of through combining these companies, is often the driving force behind a merger. Synergy also has a definition of what it exists when the whole accomplishes more than the sum of its parts, which is mathematically represented by the question 2 + 2 = 5, or the equation, excuse me. Examples of synergies in the business world include business mergers, combining or creating compatible product lines, or creating cross-disciplinary work groups. Now, I see synergy in many things besides just the business world. So I would like to know, first of all, who would like to go first? Raise your hand. I can't see everybody. Rosemary, can you tell me?
I'll go first as far as with the tabletop topic question.
Yes, and who was that?
Cassandra.
Hi, Cassandra, there you are. Okay, so I would like you to tell us about a time when you experienced synergy in your life.
In relationships, I'll take it for relationships. In a family unit, you have your mother, your father, and if you have siblings, sisters, and brothers. And as you know, for me, coming from a family of 6 of us, and me being the youngest of them all, growing up, there was a lot of fighting for attention, I would say. And we all had to get along, yet all fighting for our parents' attention. And you get it the best way you can. Me, being the baby of the family, I was sure to get mine. And my sister, being 5 years older than I, yet we had the same birthday. We were 5 years, 5 hours, 5 minutes apart. And I always wanted my own birthday, yet we shared the same birthday, September 27th. And we fought for that attention. She was the youngest until I came along. And she, growing up, my mom would tell the story when she brought me home. She would stick her fingers in my eye, pull my hair, shake the crib, do whatever she can. She did not like me. And we fought for that attention growing as we grew older, fought for that attention. Yet, not really realizing it, I somehow knew that it was that back and forth with us, trying to get that attention, yet I came out on top because I knew how to grab my father's attention, get my mother's attention. Me and my mom had the same things that we had in common that we liked. So that was a plus for me. She didn't like to go shopping. She stayed behind. Yet she wanted that attention, but she didn't know how to go about getting it. So with that in mind, I had that commonality with my mom. Yet I loved my sister dearly, and I wanted to be with her. I wanted to be like my sister. I followed her all around. You know, it was like anywhere that she was, I wanted to be with her. We used to play in our room, and we had this imaginary community we had on our walls. She was very creative. She had this imaginary friend. I wanted to know that friend. She kept her a secret. Her name was Priscilla. I wanted to be with her and Priscilla. It was just this back and forth thing that we had together. When she grew up and went to Cal, Berkeley, I wanted to be her little sister and be up there with her. I wanted to go and stay up at Sprout Hall and go up there.
Cassandra, your red light is on.
So in that respect, it was this big family thing where we wanted to cook and be together. So in that respect, it was sibling rivalry, but it was this whole family thing where in a family dynamic, it was that synergy. It was that love.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Cassandra. And now, who would like to go next?
One question, are we following the agenda, or is the agenda just you, the table topic master?
I don't have a copy of the agenda.
Because I saw Cassandra was also a table topic master, and Michelle.
I was gonna go,
May
she
I
asked a question,
interject,
so.
please?
And I'm supposed
As
to
the
do
timer?
5. Yes.
Hello? May I interject?
Please.
As the timer, the agenda identifies 4 table topic masters, meaning there are 4 rounds. The very first one is Michelle Tony. The second round will be chaired by Cassandra, the third by Stefan, and the fourth with Kimmy. You started with the 4th presenter. Doesn't matter. We have 4 rounds.
Okay. So and then I've got 5 questions, or
Okay.
do we have time, right? That was my understanding.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'd like to know who would like to go next. Michelle, yay. I would like you to tell us about a time when you wished there had been synergy in a project you were working on. A time when you wished that there had been synergy and there wasn't.
Oh, Kimmy, I have so many. I just don't know which one to pick. But the one that I can probably remember recently, when I say recently, I'll probably say a year and a half ago, was when I was picked to be part of a project when it came down to integrating a new software. And I had my original I'll say project manager or my lead, who basically gave me the tools, the strategy, the scope, everything to follow on this project to integrate this software for the company. We worked like we were twins. We worked hand in hand. There were no complications. When there were discrepancies, we put it together. If there were issues, we went to the top. I mean, we worked very well together. Unfortunately, she had to leave to go to another project, and I was given somebody else to take her place. So when you're in the middle of a project and you have a new person comes in, it kind of messes up the routine and the monotony anyway. But when you had this other person who already had an expectation to do something totally different from the person that you worked with, the synergy just fell off. I mean, literally just fell off to the point that I didn't want to work there anymore. I just didn't want to work with the person. I was done working with the project. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. So again, when it comes to working with somebody that has harmony with you, and like you said, put 2 + 2 = 4, and everything is smooth, regardless if there's some challenges or some discrepancies and you know how to handle it. Hey, let's keep it going. But don't bring somebody coming into the situation and just throw it off to the point you don't want to be bothered anymore. So I want to give that example because I'm sure I can relate to some people. Unfortunately, that particular situation really, really threw off my synergy, especially in that particular project. So that's a good example of me not having that synergy.
That was a great example. I loved the before and the after effect. That was wonderful. So who is next? Stefan?
Oh, sure, no problem.
Okay, wonderful. So I'd like to understand from you, because I've never met you before, how you use synergy, or how do you see synergy working in your area of interest, a project you're working on or something? How do you see or envision synergy in that project?
Thank you so much for that question. When I think of the word synergy, I think of connection. And I myself, I like computers. And if you know anything about computers, you know that computers work with networking. I believe that if we are, as computers, being able to connect with one another, we can be able to get so much done. We can be able to complete so much work that needs to be done, not only here in the world, but here around Toastmasters. I believe that if we are not afraid to ask questions when we don't know what to do or anything else, we can be able to get a lot done. And I believe that it is very important to be able to do stuff when you're afraid, because if you do stuff scared, you're able to learn from it. And the lesson that we're able to gain from that is none other than anything that I've ever seen before. So I believe that working together as one is something that is very vital. Thank you for that question.
Thank you very much for that answer. I love that. Who is next? Curtis? Bhushan?
Okay.
Bhushan? Okay, wonderful. I would like you to tell us about a relationship in which you experienced synergy.
Oh. Madam Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters, and all the guests. It's wonderful to have a synergy in a relationship. I know my wife, who just passed away a few years earlier, but when I was with her, we had such a wonderful life. Think about all the questions I had from the whole day. I come back in the evening, I just have a nice conversation. And when you are with yourself, you can't think. But when you have somebody talking to you, You get all those brainstorming and wonderful ideas. Things became so nice that I felt in the evening that all my stresses are gone. I had those tough challenges or conflicts, like how am I going to complete this on time, especially when you are doing projects, as Michelle said and others said who are doing projects, you know how tough it is when you have tough deadlines. I need somebody to help you and take you out of the box and think outside and see how you can do it. And so I bounced off my idea, how can we do this? And said, okay, why don't you talk to these 4 people and bring them together? And I did that. And look, whatever I was struggling to do, which I thought I could never accomplish, I finished that project on time. So here comes energy. In a relationship, it enlivens the life. It makes us feel so good, think out of the box, and together we can accomplish a lot more. So synergy is very good when you have it in the relationship, and it can make our life stronger. Back to you, Kimi.
That was beautiful, Bhushan.
Thank you.
The last question, who would like to go? Is that you, Curtis, or Carolyn, or Rosemary? Curtis?
Okay.
Or who? Carolyn, okay.
I can time you, Carolyn.
All right.
Okay. In neurolinguistic programming, we say that the structure of genius is when more than one brain comes together, more than one mind comes together and creates something new out of that. Have you ever had an unexpected synergy with a stranger?
Thank you so much for that question, because the previous speaker, Bhushan, actually brought this memory up for me. And I believe it's the touch tone that of your thought that caused me to remember a man that I met named Bill. Bill and I were attending a similar type church, but for some reason, once we met, even though he lived in California and I lived in Memphis, Tennessee, I could think and speak things that I wanted to have happen. And he would give me a call and he would repeat to me things that I had said. It just seems like we just flowed in some kind of synergistic harmony. And the same thing would happen to him. He would muse over things in his mind. And when we would have a conversation, I would respond in kind to the thoughts that he had. Now, when we were actually in the same room together, it was very difficult for us to have a conversation, but it was good having a conversation because we were finishing one another's sentences. So we knew what each one was talking about, and we were so in sync. I have never experienced that type of synergy with anyone else. So it's very special. And I give grateful thanks for it. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
What a fun story. Thank you so much. And now I'd like to pass it back to Toastmaster of the Day, Rosemary Sweeney, to call on the next Table Topics Master.
Okay, so our next table topic master is Cassandra. I called Kim because Kim is the only person who was bold enough to have the synergy of TT at the front of her name. So let us make Cassandra feel welcome.
Thank you. Okay, we all know that 2020 and 2021 was a stressful 2 years. So now we have new beginnings. 22, year 2022. So I'd like to call on a couple of people to ask this question. I'll start with Curtis, what did 2021 teach you about yourself?
Thank you very much, Madam Table Topics Master. 2021 was an interesting year for many, many reasons. I think I'll choose my work experience for 2021. I actually started a new job in 2019. And 2019 and I started this new job in 2019. And 2019 and 2020 were rough in terms of myself and my one-up. We weren't seeing eye to eye. And those were relatively smooth years. I guess I was being a bit idealistic in how I wanted things to run in a near perfect world. And then as the pandemic progressed, 2021 turned into a disaster of a year business-wise. And I mean, things were falling apart all around us. We still had the project load. The project load was still there. We were still expected to deliver on time and on budget. And the resources were falling away. People were getting sick. They were getting taken out of the game. And strangely enough, it took 2021 for myself and my boss to really start to pull together. In the toughest of times, we really started to pull together. We were shooting in the same direction, as they say in the Army. And it was our absolute best year to date. And what I realized about myself was, I was able in 2021 to really settle down and put the differences that we had aside, and really work with everybody around me to get the job at hand. And I thought for me, it was really a big year of growth. We sat together last month and had a chuckle about the last 3 years and how the first 2 were pretty rough. And then the last one, when it really mattered, 2021, we really pulled the rabbit out of the hat and did a tremendous amount of work. And it made me stronger, and it definitely made the relationship between us professionally a lot stronger as well. So that's it for me.
Thank you so much. Relationships and now that's really important. Thanks, Curtis. Okay. Let's ask Michelle Tony this question. In regards to, like I said, 2020, 2021. Michelle Tony, during that time, who showed up for you and how can you nurture those relationships, those people who showed up for you during that time?
Both 2020 and 2021?
Yeah, either of those years.
Okay. For 2020, I'll say quite a few people showed up for me because that's when most of us were stuck at home and we had to work from home, and I was by myself. Some people probably didn't like that, but I loved it. Working at home by myself. But I still had resources that were still at reach while I was at home, through Zoom or on the phone, some kind of way besides, of course, face-to-face. In that time is where I discussed my finances. I had planned 3 trips that year, and big trips like Dubai. I was supposed to go on a European cruise, and I was supposed to go to Niagara Falls in 2020. But since that was cut short because of the pandemic and we had to isolate and I stayed home by myself, I decided to look at other resources, and a couple of people told me, well, use that money for those trips to pay off your debt. And that's what I did. I looked at videos from YouTube. I talked to some people online to get out of debt. And that whole year in 2020, well, starting of course March to I'll say January of 2021, is basically what I did. I got out of debt because I couldn't use my money for anything else besides my regular bills. And I had that money, allocated for those trips. So might as well put it in good use and get out of debt.
So you used it for that. So
And that's what I
people
did.
gave you that idea and said, do that. So they actually helped you on that.
And they helped me get out of debt. That's correct.
So that's what
That is
friends are for. All
That's what
right.
friends are for. That's right.
Okay.
Now,
excellent.
2021 is a different story, but 2020 was a significant year for me, and that's what it was.
All right. Cool. And let's see here. How about Michelle, Dr. Michelle Petacolis? Let's ask you this.
She's not in this room.
Oh, she's not in this group. Okay. Let's try Miss Rosemary. Can I ask you this question?
Yes,
What
you
do
may.
you need to accept about yourself and about other people and life in order to have this synchronicity thing going here, this oneness?
It's oneness. What I need to accept about
About
myself.
yourself and others in order to have this oneness.
What I need to accept about myself is that I can do things and I need to start doing what I think of doing. Like it is 3 years since I'm trying to start a charity. I have all the information here. So I need to have that confidence in myself that when I go out there to get my people together, they will be willing to come with me. Because it is a charity where I want to assist people who live on the streets, at least give them a meal at least once a week. So I need to accept that I am able to do it. I have the capacity to do it. And in others, I need to accept that certain times they are not aware that they are hurting me and hurting other people. Because some people do things unaware of what is happening around them. I don't know if they're because of their selfishness. I see that at work and I try to put my mind around it. Sometimes I just write them off. I am the manager of a branch, and for the past 3 months, I had one person acting in a position. Come January, I spoke with him and I told him I would have another person acting in that position. And his whole disposition changed. And for 2 days, I haven't spoken to him because I need to accept he felt hurt, he felt bad, and he may be just a selfish person. So I need to accept that I can do certain things, and then I also have to accept that people may not react joyfully to the joy of others. Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much for answering that. Excellent. And Miss Kimmy, how can you better manage your reactions to your feelings in 2022?
I am currently, I've been studying A Course in Miracles for 25 years.
My favorite. I read
And
that whole book.
I am mentoring one of my clients through the book. So I started the lessons again. And one of the things that the Course in Miracles is, or A Course in Miracles, which I find it's awkward to say, the Course in Miracles is easier. But anyway, what I find is the essence of A Course in Miracles is there are two things. There's love or fear. We are either coming from one of those two places. In terms of managing my feelings, I like to come from love or consciousness. To me, that means that I choose to remember that we are all suffering from CEOs, stuck in your own head syndrome. We all perceive the world through what is going on inside our heads. And I don't know what's happening for somebody else. If I have to make one assumption about somebody else, it's that I don't know, which talks me off the ledge. I describe it often talking myself or talking my clients off a ledge, because we build up these stories about other people and then we get worked up and we're really upset. And instead, if I can remember, and I choose to practice this as often as possible, I'd like to say every day, every moment, I'm human and I have moments of fear. However, when I talk myself off the ledge and I remember that we are all suffering from CEOs, and I become curious instead of furious, I find that I can manage my emotions a lot better. Back to you, Table Topics Master. Cassandra.
Thank you so much for that, Kimmy. And how much more time do I have? Do I have a little bit more time for one more? Okay, I guess I do. Miss
You have one more.
Okay, Miss Carolyn, for 2022, how do we embrace? Can you give us some words of wisdom on how we can embrace forgiveness and love in 2022? Because I feel that in 2021, there was this push for fear, to push for fear, get people out on this fear base, and people were reacting on fear. But how can we encompass love and forgiveness moving forward?
Thank you so much for the question. How can we embrace? Well, let me just approach it this way. What I want for myself, I want for others. And that's a mantra that I have for myself. If I want good for myself, then I want good for you. If I want forgiveness for myself, I want forgiveness for you. And when I have personally allowed myself to take that broad leap to say that I need to forgive somebody or forgive myself for what I think I don't need to have forgiveness around, I find myself yielding and surrendering to what I consider to be a higher good, a higher way of thinking. And that higher way of thinking is letting love lead the way. Therefore, what I want for you now becomes what I want for me. I want you to forgive so that I too forgive. And it's a matter of embracing it. Yes, it does involve arguing with yourself, but what is it you really want? What is it I really want? We've heard, I'm okay, you're okay. Well, if we want to be okay together in love, then let us allow ourselves the opportunity and the privilege of affording the privilege of not having to live in stress, anxiety, and depression simply because you're harboring a grudge. So what I want for myself, I want for others. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
I want to thank everyone for this time and sharing in new beginnings and in synergy. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Cassandra, for your wonderful questions, which got us thinking. And at this time, I call on our Toastmaster, Stephen Miller, Table Topic Master, Stephen Miller, to lead us in this final session.
Thank you very much. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I am your Table Topics Master for this evening's meeting. The purpose of the table topics is to test your impromptu skills and ability to think on your feet. Here is the questions. Thank you very much. What makes you happy? What makes you happy? Kimmy Avery, what makes you happy?
Thank you, Toastmaster or Table Topics Master Stefan. There are many things that make me happy. I am always looking for beautiful and sweet and kind and loving experiences. I find that often with my 3 dogs who like to sleep with me in a puppy pile. They are playful, they are loving, they are joyful, excited, exuberant. That makes me really happy. When I'm not feeling great for some reason, I play with my dogs. I look at nature. I love clouds. I love flowers. I love leaves. I love rain. I love sunshine. I love whatever really is around me. And recently I've started painting. My mother was an artist. And when I was about 5 years old, I painted on one of her paintings and I got in big trouble. So here I am, 54 years old, and I've bought myself a bunch of paints and I'm starting to paint. And I am seeing the world in a new way. I'm seeing the colors and the light and the darkness and shading in a new way. And I just started painting. I love I love beauty. I love enlivening my experience and that of others. I love vibrancy. I love connection. I love joy. All of these things bring me happiness. And I do my best to cultivate them in all the people I encounter. And I also do that by practicing it myself. Back to you, Stefan. Thank you for the question.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful response. Next question. What would you do if you can do it all over again? What would you do if you could do it all over again? Cassandra.
What would I do if I could do it all over again? I would spend more time with friends. I would dance more. I would spend more time with my friends. I would spend more time with my friends. I worked a lot when I was growing up, and I didn't spend a lot of time with friends. I would spend time with friends. Yes. That would be my thing. Spend more time with friends. Have more girlfriends. I don't have any girlfriends. I would have more girlfriends. That would be. Try friends, not too many girlfriends. That would be.
Awesome. Response.
You know, I've done the things that I actually set out to do, I have done. But that would be my dual. That would be my main dual. But I have no regrets. The things that I actually set out to, my goals in life, I have actually set out and have achieved those things in life. So really no regrets. Yeah.
Thank you. Next question. When you pour water into a glass, do you look at the glass half empty or half full? Explain. Michelle Tony.
I am just so happy you asked me that question. I look at it that is something in there, period. I don't look at it half empty. I don't look at it half full. I just look at it because there's something in there. And to me, when you have something in there, that means you are starting something. Because you may be finishing up something, which could be empty, or you could be starting something, which can be full. But to me, it's something. And somebody asked me that question before, and people, always answered either half empty or half full. But I look at it again, it's something. You're starting something. It could be you starting something to finish, or you starting something to start, to start something. But I look at it that there's something in there. I'll give you an example. Some people say that, $20 is not in a bank account is no money. Yes, there is. $20 is something. Because some people say, oh, I don't have any money in the bank account. Yes, you do. You got $20. That means you're starting with something. It can lead you to 22, 200, 2,000, something. So I look at it in a different way, that there's something in the glass. And as you can see on my picture, it's wine. It's up to you on what you want in that glass, but it's something, and my something is wine. So table topic master, Stefan, back to you. I'm glad I got that question. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful response. It's about the positive in life. Thank you. Next question. What do you see when you look in the mirror? What do you see when you look in the mirror? Rosemary.
When I look in the mirror, I see a lot of things. I see my face has the glasses, I have a head of hair. However, deep down inside, I see a very humble person who wants to help my people. I'm from Dominica and I want to help them. I see a person who will be starting, because come next month in February, on that 14th of February, I have organized to feed at least 50 people. And I do not want it to end there. I want it to continue. It started last year with me becoming a member of the domestic abuse hotline. So I see myself in the mirror as a servant leader, somebody who is there to serve. And at this stage in my life, I want to give back. And that is what I have been thinking about. I signed up to do my HPL, and my HPL will be just that, because I cannot go alone. I need people to assist me and to guide me, because it is something new. So in the mirror, especially 2022 coming, I see myself as someone who will be out there assisting people whoever I can and whenever I can. However, I will make it a goal and plan to do those things, so it will not be by chance. Back to you, my Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you. Thank you. Next question. How has Toastmasters benefited you thus far? How has Toastmasters benefited you thus far? Curtis.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. How has Table Topics benefited me?
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters, sorry, yes. Oh, there it goes. First, I want to use an adjective. I want to say immensely, because without Toastmasters, I would not even be on this Zoom meeting right now, talking to, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 strangers in front of me, another set in the speechcraft room who'll soon be here seeing me speak again. A few years ago, I would have never even had the confidence or the courage to turn on my microphone and speak to you guys. Over the last few years since the pandemic, we've now opened up internationally with these Zoom meetings, and I stepped outside of my own small club of first-class Toastmasters here in Barbados. I took on the challenge of being an area director within District 81, and I started speaking to people all through the Caribbean. Then I took up this challenge and I joined Leaders Worldwide Toastmasters, and now I'm speaking to people all over the world. And Toastmasters, I really can thank Toastmasters for that. My confidence has grown immensely. My ability to speak to people, I'm not pouring in sweat, and the nerves aren't taking over me anymore when I speak to large crowds. And it's helped me both in my personal life, my professional life, and my social life. I think Toastmasters has been one of the single most beneficial endeavors that I've taken on in the last few years. So yeah, that's my answer there for me.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. How much time do I have left?
You have used all 5 positions.
Okay. Thank you for this opportunity to be a table topics master. It would really be awesome if I can be able to participate anytime. You can call on me anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and you're welcome to be here anytime. If our Vice President membership was here, she would have taken your name and make sure we contact you and keep you with us, so you will be with us all the time.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, is our timer ready with her report?
Are we having the 4th table topics master, the 4th round?
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Being
I
led
left
by
out
Michelle Tony.
Yes,
you.
we will. Sorry
Yes.
about that.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Rosemary. All right, well, I have about 5 of them, and I'm going to randomly pick people to give me their comments on these questions. I had the long versions of each question, but I'll make it short since we're limited in time. So I'll go with Bhushan. Bhushan, I haven't heard from you in a while, so get ready for this one.
Okay.
So, you know, 2022 started 3 days ago, right? And I know that you are excited and you are looking forward to new beginnings in this year, right? Well, I have a question. What are you seeking to make a new ending by creating exciting new beginnings?
A new ending.
Yes, from 2021. Make a new ending by creating a new exciting new beginnings in 2022.
Thank you, Michelle, fellow Toastmasters and guests. That's a remarkable question, because most people think about beginning things. How many of us really think about ending things? And so you see that there's so many things that accumulate with us that they remain on because we never think about ending them. And the easiest thing to observe for me was the clutter. You always think of getting things, they keep on adding, whatever it's books, clothes, belongings, they keep growing. And we never think about getting rid of them. So let's make a beginning by thinking what we are going to end before we start a new one. Because of course, a room is only so much. And if you keep on filling it in, there's no space for the new things. Wonderful thought, Michelle. I'm going to think about first getting rid of the clutter. Too much clutter, keep it simple, create space for the new. Second thing is to look at transforming ourselves. We are what we are, but how many of us ever thought what we need to change in ourselves? And when I do a change in yourself, you're basically doing away with something and getting something new in us. Whether it's a new skill, whether it's a new beginning, a new education, even a new career change. A lot of things can be done. And I'm thinking also about how do I go forward? Like I got my DTM, now what next? What next? What should be the next thing to go for? And there are a lot of things in this world. So it's always thinking of what now is come to a logical end. Where do we get the new beginning? Each one of you would have your own thoughts on the new year, just the way I'm having. And just think about it. with a simple thought that if you get rid of a few things, how many more new things can you get in ourselves? It's a wonderful thing. So I'm definitely thinking of getting rid of all that I have, like the clutter and the other items I have, and then making a fresh beginning into a more greener and a more remarkable world. Back to you, Michelle.
That was great, Rushan. I can relate to everything what you just said. And I cleaned out my closet and during the holiday season. So I can totally get what you're saying. Clean out the closet and then do the garage. That's the next thing. That was great. Thank you very much for participating. All right, so let's go to Curtis. So Curtis, small beginnings, okay? So probably throughout 2021, you had short periods of a time on what you want to accomplish. So for instance, with me, I wanted to start my financial coaching. That's what I want to do for, I did for 2021. And I want to continue doing that for 2022. But for you, what would be some things that you want to start small in the beginning so you can continue to make some accomplishments in 2022?
Thank you very much for the question, Michelle. So, small things that I'm doing, I wanted to get a bit more hands-on. So currently, way back, and I'm not going to tell you exactly when, way back in the day, it was a very, I used to really engage physically with my environment around me. And then somehow that got derailed and it ended up in an office job. And I'm spending, hours and hours in front of the computer and sitting at a desk. And something that happened at the beginning of the pandemic, when it was forced to stay home, I realized, hey, there's all these things that I used to do before. I have, tons of tools, power tools and stuff around me that are just sitting around doing nothing. And I decided to do an electrical course just to kind of get back into the groove again. And I started with the electrical course. I didn't finish it, but it really got the juices flowing again. And since then, funny enough, I bought more tools. And I've actually started to refurbish an old vehicle that I had. It was my pride and joy a few years ago. And I kind of left it just languishing there on the lawn for a couple of years. But now with my new electrical skills and I bought some new tools, I'm getting that van put back together. I want to make it a real, really want to get back that pride that I had in that vehicle before. And I'm currently going through all the electrical work. Just finishing up some last touches and going to get it inspected. So if at the next meeting you see me with a broad smile on my face, it probably means that I passed inspection and I didn't burn it down or any of the houses around me in the, in that little endeavor there. So yeah, so that's one of those things that I'm doing is electrical work just to get more of that hands-on feel again and get my van rebuilt and on the road and hopefully fully electrically sound in the process.
No, that's great. Good job. I'm looking forward to it. And I do need some electrical work done in my house. So you want to come to California when you're done. All right. Thank you, Curtis. All right. Swinson. Yes, we haven't heard from you. Where are you? Mr. Roger Swinson. I would like to ask you a question. Yay. All right. So as we all know, change is basically constant. There's always constant change going on, right? So for 2022, I'm sure there's going to be some changes in your life, whether it's personal, professional, or anything otherwise. Can you give us a couple examples on something that you want to begin realigning in your life as something that you want to, really, really reach out for and make it a goal?
He's asleep.
Okay, let's move right along. Okay, who would like to answer that question?
I was busy seeing if he was listening. Can you repeat the question?
That's okay. Yeah. Who was that? Is that Kimmy?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so basically, like I was saying, change is always constant. It's always things changing, you know, regardless of what we're doing, it's always changing. So how would you in 2022 realign yourself on change? Because it will happen, but how would you, or what ways would you realign yourself when it comes to those changes or getting ready for a change?
Oh boy. I have been searching for the right contact management, electronic course program that works for my business. And I've settled into something called Groove Funnels. I've made the initial purchase. It's free if you are just using a basic account, but I wanted more features. And then it's a lifetime access. I'm tired of having bills trickle in every month that sort of expand and grow. And so this is kind of a one-stop shop. I am in the process of organizing myself so that I can manage my passwords and remember them. I bought something called, I think it's 1Password. And the reason I did this is because I have found myself I think it was Curtis was talking about clutter. I've had lots of clutter in my life and it's sort of like a log jam. So this year, my vision for it is streamlined so that I can reach the people who want to have relationship coaching, to support them in having amazing, thriving, loving relationships, and how to navigate those experiences. That's really my passion. And all the logjam does is get in the way. So I am committed to turning that around this year and making my business thrive by reaching more people. Last 2 years, I was in a bit of a holding pattern, and I am ready to just emerge. Back to you, Michelle. Thank you for that question.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. That's good. Thank you for that response. Okay, I think I have 2 more, right? 2 more questions. That sounds right. Okay. All right. Madam Timer, I'll give you this question.
All right.
All right. So I have getting to know you this past year as part of the district trio as our programs person, and got to understand where you're coming from and what you have planned for us in Toastmasters. So I wanted to bring this question to you. You do bring a lot of excitement to us, and you live and you really tell us your passions on things that you do outside of Toastmasters and as well as inside. Can you share with us the things, activities, people who bring out the best in you? Can you share that with us?
Thank you so much for the question. One of the things that has become very obvious to me over the past few years is to let go of competition, because we were raised on competition, and to allow myself to move to that place of cooperation more so than anything else. So I'm now much more attracted to and aligned with people who are willing to work cooperatively for a common good. This actually started while I was still employed with the Environmental Protection Agency, and part of my job was to be a cooperative manager. And it was awesome because I had to learn how, in the face of opposition, to, number one, keep a straight face, number two, be neutral and not say, you can't do that, but to become much more creative in the approach of how to get things done, and to allow people to have space to bring what they felt was really important to the table, and how we could build upon that to get to what I wanted to do. So it's not manipulation. It's learning how to work cooperatively with one another. So I would have to say that those people who were part of the human resources department who brought this to us said, we have to learn how to work together. We have to learn how to work together and how to put your own agenda to the side. Because once you take on working cooperatively, you will see those things that you want to have happen to come through. And they were proven right. So that's my answer. It has been a synergistic thing that occurred in my life, and I have a passion for it. I love to see this new thing come about. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Great response. I love it. That's why I asked you that question. All right, I have one last question and I will turn it to our Madam Toastmaster of the evening. So is that Miss Rosemary, right?
Yes.
So, Madam Toastmaster, can you share with us the wisdom of letting go? Anything from 2021 and before that to now? Any wisdom of letting things go?
Okay, the wisdom of letting things go. I worked at a job one time and it was not stressful because I do not let things stress me out, but I found it was limiting in that I was not growing. At one point, I thought I had to get more qualification to get an opportunity to move up and realized that that was not working. So I decided to let that job go. And everybody felt I would not remain in the job I was going to because I was offered less. If I had to accept the job, it would be more work and less pay. But I had let go of money. I wanted to be working for my self-development and for me to feel fulfilled. And what happened when I let go is that the company I went to work for and the company I left amalgamated. And so I came in at a higher level and pay was not a problem. So it taught me that you do not have to hold on to things. When you feel it is right, you let it go. And as long as it is for your self-development and your growth. Back to you, Madam Table Topic Master.
All right, well, that concludes all of my table topic questions. I think everybody did a great job. So back to you, Madam Toastmaster, Rosemary. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. At this time, we're going to have our reports. We are first going to have a report from our timer and then from our grammarian.
Thank you so much. And I am very pleased to report that we only, out of all of the speeches that were given tonight, there was only one that was beyond time. And it was one of the table topics that ended at 4 minutes and 19 seconds. Everyone else was within the time limit. As far as the keynote speech, within time limits. That is my report.
Thank you. I now ask our grammarian, distinguished Toastmaster Bashan, to present his report.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day, Rosemary. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, let me present you the grammarian's report. Firstly, I will tell you the usage of the word of the day, that is synergy. The word of the day was used 11 times. We had aimed for 10, it was used 11, so we all met our goal. Wonderful use of the word synergy. Some of the good quotes now heard in the speeches today, and most notably from our speaker, Kathlyn. It is leading by serving, transform to new heights, facing our fears, Connecting with compassion for greater good. Wonderful quotes. Thank you, Kathlyn. Now for the use of the filler words, and, and, And was used 12 times, 7 times, and 6 times. Now let me tell you those who did not use any filler words at all today. And some of them are Rosemary, Carolyn, and Kimmy. And of course, our speaker, who was Kathlyn. Great job for not using the filler words. Wonderful speeches, everyone. And I really enjoyed the meeting. Back to you, our Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, and I welcome all the people from the Speechcraft, and now hand over to our acting president. Let us make her feel welcome.
Thank you. Hold on, this is saying open all rooms. I don't want this, hold on. Okay, so thank you all for coming to this meeting. Our Speechcraft was amazing, and I want to hear a little bit about the main room. What were your takeaways from today? I have a pile of virtual chocolates ready to give out. So who wants to raise their hands and tell me what is their takeaway from today? What did they get out of today? Sally, you're muted.
Okay. I thought this a really interesting, exciting, energetic, the whole meeting, the stories, the delivery of speeches. It was really charming and exciting. Thank you.
Okay, and what kind of chocolate would you like?
Okay, almond.
Almond?
Yes.
Just almond?
Yes.
What kind of chocolate?
Well, you can put chocolate on the outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. White chocolate. Here we go. Here we go. Woo-hoo!
Woo! Thank you.
All right. Anybody else want to share? How about in the main? Oh, Kimmy.
I loved the table topics marathon that we had. I enjoyed hearing from more people and everybody in the room, and we really had a good time exploring synergy and exploring life and love and projects and all kinds of great things. It was fun.
Awesome. Kimmy, so what kind of chocolate do you want?
How about dark chocolate with almonds and sea salt?
Oh, what percentage of dark chocolate?
70.
All right, here we go. Woo! Okay, and who else do we have? We have lots of time here for people to share. Oh, Grace, you've got your hands up.
I enjoyed the table topic, actually. I thought that it was interesting to hear what everybody who spoke on that topic of what would you do if you only had six months to live. It was interesting to hear what everybody had to say, but it was also challenging to me to really examine my life and to say, what would I do if I had 6 months to live? And really made me start thinking about some things that I need to get out of the way, you know, because we're supposed to live each day like it's the last day, because since tomorrow is not.
Yeah. Yeah. Did Maureen inspire you? Are you going to clean out your closets?
I was thinking more of pictures, you know how we take pictures with our phones?
Yeah.
Just stay on our phones.
Yeah.
I was busy thinking about, I need to get these pictures of my children out and print them out and put them somewhere else where they can see these pictures at some point, you know. So it was quite a good topic, Isaac. Thank you.
Yeah, excellent topic, Isaac. Excellent subject. And Grace, what kind of chocolate would you like?
I would have caramel.
Caramel? And what kind of chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate with caramel. Here we go. Woo!
I will get
All right. Okay, great. Anybody else want to share what they got out of today? Michelle?
Share.
Oh,
Yes,
Go ahead, Carolyn.
Carolyn, go ahead.
I really appreciate Stefan participating as a table topics master. I love the questions and his willingness to say, hey, I'm available anytime. Just let me know. He's ready to be a wonderful member here with Stefan. And it just demonstrates that we're doing something right that allows guests to come, feel welcome to participate, and to want to be a member in our club. So I am very proud of that. And thank you, Stefan, for being with us today.
Well, thank you, Carolyn, for that testimonial for Stefan. And Stefan, I may have to ask you what you thought. But first, Carolyn, what kind of chocolate would you like?
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, I'm the queen of mixing it up. So I want some chocolate covered pistachio nuts and already in green pistachio ice cream.
All right. Chocolate, pistachio, and green pistachio ice cream coming up. You better hold up your bowl. Here we go.
See this?
Oh. So, Stefan, that was quite a testimonial. Would you like to say something about your experience?
Thank you. I just would like to say that I am just grateful to be here, and you could be able to help me here anytime. Just send me an email and I'll be able to show up whenever I can. So thank you very much for having me. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And what kind of chocolate would you like?
Oh man, I love sweet chocolate.
Okay. So is that like milk chocolate? Is the really sweet?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Here we go. You ready? And whoosh.
Thank you.
Okay. Who else would like to share? Yes, Michelle. Yes.
Thank you, Dr. Michelle. Yeah, I like the table topic marathon myself. I think that's something that we should probably incorporate sometime, even if it's once a month or something like that. It really, to me, from what I heard and participating, it did really bring a lot of thought to it instead of just having a speech already, I'm already saying right? Speech that's been practiced and the details we're going to be talking about. Where table topic, especially with a bigger group than usual, it really did make us think a lot, and we heard everybody, other people's experiences, and I took a lot of it. I took a lot of those experiences. I'm like, hey, maybe that's something I probably need to look into or work on. But I really think that that's something that maybe the leadership should consider doing. You know, if not once a month, something more than just this one time. I think.
Well,
and I think Stefan did a great job. I answered one of his questions that I don't think he thought I was going to answer the way he thought, but but yes, I can attest that he should join because I think he would be a good asset to the group.
All right, Stefan, you've got your peanut gallery here that's rooting you on. All right, Michelle, what kind of chocolate would you like? That was a great share.
Anything that has rum in it.
Okay, we got a bonbon with rum. Here we go.
Yes, thank you. I'll take it.
All right. Okay, Isaac, what was that like being the table topics master?
I enjoyed it. I got a chance to hear and see what a lot of people are thinking. So I really enjoyed it. I like to hear stories of other people's lives. So
Yeah.
that's really the reason I like Toastmasters.
And very provoking question, very, very deep. Thank you.
Yeah. So what kind of chocolate would I like? Well, I'm going to switch it up. I would love some peach cobbler.
Okay, so here we got the peach cobbler.
With a scoop of ice chocolate on top of it.
Chocolate ice cream. Here we go. Get your bowl out. Here we go. Woo!
All right, thank you.
We're definitely still in holiday mode, aren't we? All right. Anybody else want to share?
Oh, Kathlyn, go ahead.
You go ahead first,
Okay.
Maureen. You're already.
I
unmuted.
really appreciate and enjoy how you guys are having Speechcraft be like take on a life of its own. I never would have imagined being a Toastmaster, having the having the opportunity to be a Toastmaster, trying it on, seeing, it's not as ominous as you think it is. And the community here is just totally amazing. The people that are here, the quality of the people over here, the friendliness, the richness of our group. I'm just so grateful and blessed to be here because I'm leaving today just so delighted and excited from the whole experience. Thank you. And thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, Maureen. And you really put your finger on the spot. This group has really matured, and you can really see it in that meeting. It's like everyone has stepped up to the plate, and it's very exciting. And we have more in store for you. We are not done. So what kind of chocolate would you like?
I would like a chocolate covered the dark cherry, dark cherry.
All right, here we go. Get ready. Here you go. It was short. I mean, it was small compared to the cobbler. Okay, and let's see. Who else? Kathlyn, was that you?
Yeah. Before making a couple of announcements for the club, I would just say that how the intimacy, I think the smallness allows us to let our hair down, take our clothes off, get naked, get real, get tender. And it really is what I want to do. It's what I told you I want to do in my keynote. It's about really, really connecting. So I loved it, and I'm very grateful for the quality of everybody's cooperation and all the work that we do. So grateful to Michelle Yu and Curtis Yu and Maureen and Isaac. Oh my goodness. And Stefan, you have a fan club, and so does Michelle. So anyway, I am just popping in.
Wait, we got to give you your chocolate first, then you can do your announcement. Okay, so get ready.
Tiramisu, I wanted just like 2-inch square of tiramisu.
Here we go. Okay, ready? Here we go.
Gooey.
You forgot to hold up your bowl.
Anyway, so we have January 8th, that's Saturday. It's from 1 till 5, I believe it is. It's the training for the officers. It's very good. It's a time commitment, but it is interesting. It is valuable. So it is required for officers, and it is very good for us to lead by serving. So anybody who's interested in helping an officer or becoming an officer or learning what the work is like. Did I put it in? No, I did not.
And I believe that Gary Howarth, you're going to be one of the speakers there. So you're going to be talking more about that SP, what is it called? UPS or USP. USP. And all of you who are entrepreneurs, you want to be there. Anybody who is in business want to be there for his speech. So, and that's, extra. He's going to be a keynote speaker.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. So also we've got, we have a speech contest coming up, and there's some special training from Division D on how to do the various roles and how to put on a speech contest. I don't know if any of you are getting involved in it, but if you ever think that you're going to have to do a speech contest online, this is what you want to go to. And that's this week, this Thursday? I forget. We'll send it out to all of you so you can get an opportunity to sign up. Kathlyn, you're muted.
It's on Wednesday.
This Wednesday. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So this Wednesday, speech contest training. And then on this Saturday, TLI. And just know that we also have makeup trainings and we have some of our very own people doing the trainings. Both Leaders Worldwide and Heart to Heart, your mother club, have been known for probably producing more trainers than any other club in District 57. So you want to go and cheer on our trainers. And also in those makeups, we are going to be needing room hosts. So anybody who wants to step in and, do things like introduce the trainers, we would really appreciate that as well. My group of division leaders are going to be happening on January 27th. So I will be sending information out about that. Kathlyn, you have any more announcements? You're muted. You're muted.
Nadine asked, will it be recorded? And I'm afraid it will not be it will not be sent out. Is that correct? I don't know.
The question I think was about her question
TLI.
came through when it was about TLI.
Oh, yeah, right. I think it's not recorded. So is that
Kathlyn, Carolyn, is that true? Is TLI
We're recording.
Yeah, they're recording.
We're recording.
they do record,
Yes, we
but
are
I don't
recording.
think they send it out. Well, that's a very important, very valuable question, Nadine. We'll have to find out.
More about that.
The other little bits of information not to forget is that on January 17th, that's 2 weeks from this day, whatever day that is for you, is the evaluation contest.
And we have some good evaluators in the Speechcraft, and you do not have to qualify to be to go participate in the evaluation competition.
Yeah, you can go right into it.
You can go right into it. So Nadine, jump in there. Grace, jump in there. That's Grace, you're not a member of this club. You're going to jump into Heart to Heart. But Nadine, you could definitely show up there and give your evaluation just to practice.
See, we're at 8:01. We're 1 minute past the hour. So the last little thing is on February 21 is the speech contest for our club. So that's it. And let us honor the time commitment. And thank you all. Thank you, Kimmy, for coming and serving and being nourished by your service. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. So many thank yous.
All right. And with that, we may adjourn. Thank you very much. And come back again. Don't forget to make it to the TLI.
Happy New Year.
Yes, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. Great
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Bye.